The only reason why I don't correct the way you spelled Colonel there is because you're using the French spelling and you're from Canada. Let's get some facts straight about Canada's KFC, though. It's not the original KFC. The original Kentucky Fried Chicken was founded in Corbin, Kentucky in 1952. The first franchise of Kentucky Fried Chicken was founded in Salt Lake City, Utah. The first Kentucky Fried Chicken opened in Canada was in 1955 by the Carter's family. Then you also have Scott's Chicken Villa. Anyways, so it wasn't the original Kentucky Fried Chicken that the Colonel refused to let go of. He sold in 1964. He didn't agree with America corporate world. It was getting to the point where he couldn't do business on a handshake anymore in America. He didn't like all these contracts. He didn't like all these fees. But in Canada at the time, the corporate system was not the same as the United States, and he could still do business on a handshake. So he decided when he sold Kentucky Fried Chicken to Brown and Massey in 1964 that he would keep the Canadian franchises under his name and he would operate those. He proceeded to operate the Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants in Canada until 1972. And that's also when Pat Grace from Ireland, Grace's Perfect Blend, took place. 1972, just before Uncle Harley retired, Pat Grace met him and convinced him to set him up with a franchise in Ireland. After that, Uncle Harley wanted to sell the franchises, but he couldn't find anybody to sell them to. And he wanted to give it to family if he couldn't sell it, but none of the family wanted the Canadian franchises. So he ended up creating the Colonel Harlan Sanders Foundation and gave his franchises to charity. And it wasn't until the 1980s that the corporate world in America started to take over how the Canadian franchises operated, with what recipe they used, where they got their ingredients from. Because for a while, the Canadian franchises were receiving 99X because that was Uncle Harley's. And here's an image of Uncle Harley at Carter's.